What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 96 of the Silver and Gold podcast. Give me 1 second. I didn't realize that my camera, for whatever reason, did not boot up. Mike, are you still there? Oh, man. Okay. We are expecting probably our worst start since what? That one time that my internet crashed with Grant? This is embarrassing. Hold on. All right. I know exactly how to fix it, and this is what I did last time. How horrible. Mike, why didn't you tell me my camera wasn't working? Okay. This is going to work in a second. Trust me, trust me. Look at Mike, dude. Next. Bam. Okay. All right. Are we good now? Hold on. Mike, are you still there? You're muted. We're just all over the place.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on? Damn, dude.
That's my reaction to the Raider game.
All right, you know what? Let's go ahead and start with the Raiders while I fix my camera. How about that? Welcome to episode 96 of the Silver and Gold podcast. The show where I inevitably say something that sounds wrong and Mike cracks up about it and gets me to crack up about it. I'm Josh, and you are?
I'm Mike.
Dude, this is the worst start we've ever had, but this is going to be the best episode, I promise you. So let's go ahead and start with Raiders versus Eagles recap. Mike, I will let you have the floor while I troubleshoot over here.
Are you able to get the camera back on with it going?
Yeah, well, I'm going to try.
All right. I mean, I got nothing. 31-0. Speaking of nothing. Hey, there he is, kind of.
There I am.
I was off doing more important things than watching this stupid ass team. So yeah, I did not watch this game. All that I know, besides the score, is that it was the second fastest game in NFL history. I forget. Jones, number 89. He used to play for the Raiders. I think his last name is Jones. He's on like the Raiders, broadcast or post game whatever YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell is his name? He went to San Jose State. Whatever. He called out Ashton Janty because he had multiple plays where he was one-on-one with a defender. And you're the 6th overall pick. You're this, special running back prospect, and you can't make these guys miss on these one-on-ones, right? Like, if it were Saquon Barkley, Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, those, X-factor top-end running backs, at least 5 out of 10 times, they're going to make the guy miss. And in this game, for some reason, Janty just didn't make them miss. I don't know what to think about it simply because I didn't watch the game. But, that is a little worrisome, for lack of a better term, just because I want him to be that world-beating, next great running back in the NFL. And if he's, just kind of flashy here, flashy there, but nothing special at the end of it all, it's going to be so frustrating considering my choice, again, was an offensive lineman, which I believe in the long run would have been better for this franchise, especially considering where they are now, which is, I mean, you've had 2 games now this year where you get shut out. And I'm not joking, they probably will again this week. um, you're the worst team in football right now. Like it's
Not
you.
the worst. It's Tennessee.
I guess so, only because Tennessee has less stars on their team, but also Tennessee actually did fire their coach, um, and they have the first overall pick quarterback already on the team. And actually, like in my opinion, maybe it's an offensive scheme thing. I don't know much on the Titans, but what I do know is they beefed up their offensive line the past year or two. Between last year's draft, I think it was last year with Skoronski, and then this year, I know they signed a bunch of guys. What is going on?
No, no, that was me.
They
That was
signed a
me.
bunch of they signed a bunch of guys, like Lloyd Cushenberry, and I want to say they signed like another tackle or something. I don't know. They they at least made a good attempt at beefing up their offensive line. There's got to be some pieces there that work. Whereas right now, I'm looking at the Raiders' offensive line, and it's like it's actually not as bad as it seems. Maybe I'm too optimistic, but still, it's like we have holes, like definitive holes on the offensive line, um,
Nice.
and definitive holes on the defensive line. And they have Jeffrey Simmons, we have Max Crosby. I think Max Crosby gets way more, you know, attention than Jeffrey Simmons does, but they're probably not so far apart in impact. You know,
Yeah,
that's
real quick,
no, yeah,
I've got a couple things. Like, I want to steer the conversation kind of in two different directions. I did want to say, Raider fans, I 1 week ago did mention that don't fall into the Kenny Pickett trap because as bad as Geno Smith has been, Kenny Pickett is a much worse quarterback. He had he went 15 of 25 for 64 yards and an interception with a 47.9 passer rating. It's horrible.
yeah. I
Uh,
didn't know the 64 yards part of that.
yeah,
That's crazy.
did you watch, how it looked, Mike? Because I have to imagine like 15 completions for 64 yards. That's got to be grueling to watch as a Raider fan or any
Yeah,
football fan.
yeah. I mean, I would assume that falls in line with it being the second fastest game in NFL history. Is that they just had a lot of three and outs and
Yeah.
obviously didn't score.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I did want to mention was Pete Carroll. Um, so one thing I found interesting was his comments on how he thought the team was ready to win now. Like he was asked about it, uh, and he said, that's what he felt at the time. That they were gonna come in and compete and win now. And then he said that that's obviously not the case anymore. I wanted to ask you, Mike, are the Raiders finally, for the first time that I can ever remember, embracing like the tank, their tank in progress that they've got going on right now?
Um, I think it's really hard to say. I think if they were truly embracing it, they would bench Geno Smith.
Okay.
And especially coming off of 64 yards for Kenny Pickett, like I think if they were really embracing it, they'd be like, good enough, you know.
Yeah.
That'll do it right there.
I'm telling
Um,
you, they would have lost this game even with Geno Smith. But
yeah, I mean, it sure sounds to me like the Eagles had a get right game, and a much needed one.
yeah,
Uh, but I I don't know. I mean, okay, I have seen a comment like the quote or whatever on some other site. Like it wasn't like directly from Pete Carroll. Like I don't listen to press conferences anymore right now. I just don't care.
uh-huh.
Um, but at some point, I think Pete Carroll said something to the effect of, you know, maybe somebody asked him like, "Does this team need to be rebuilt?" And I think he said something to the effect of like, "It sure looks like it." or that might do us better, something like that. Basically alleging or alluding to, yeah, this team needs to be rebuilt. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So those are the comments that I was essentially bringing up was uh, Pete Carroll was asked about like his comments earlier in the offseason about how he's not coming in to rebuild, and he essentially admitted that that's what this team needs now, which I think if the Raiders give Pete Carroll another season to try and turn this thing around, I don't think it's the worst thing for them because I don't think that there's a lot of great coaching candidates available. Besides, like, all right, who in their right mind would want to go to the Raiders right now? Unless like there's a coach, like an offensive minded coach that wants to coach Fernando Mendoza if the Raiders get the number one overall pick.
yeah. I mean, that's what I was saying last week. I think getting the first pick is integral to getting the right coach. Yeah, I mean, there's a long conversation to be had there because there is a part of me, a very small part of me, that does agree with you that keeping Pete Carroll for one more year isn't the worst thing that they could do.
I think it was also I like when coaches admit when they were wrong. Or I think I like when people have the ability to admit when they were wrong and that they can grow from their mistakes. Like if you never admit that something that you do is wrong, uh, I feel like there's little area for you to like actually develop like in what you're doing wrong. Which is, as a Niner fan, I feel like that was one of my biggest gripes with Shanahan, or that's been one of my biggest gripes with him for a while because I feel like it's so rare for him to like own up to something. Like it's not that he never does it; it's just it's kind of rare, and I feel like it's a very like endearing quality of a person. It makes you want to root for that person.
Right. Um, yeah, I can definitely get behind that. Um, like I said, there's a long conversation that I could, like a long tangent or whatever you want to call it, that I could go off on with Pete Carroll. Because I could see the avenue where it could work. It's just everybody has to be on the same page,
Hmm.
you know? And if Pete Carroll came in, oh, we're going to hit the ground running, we're going to win, this, that, whatever, and that's true, like he felt that way, and Geno Smith was going to do it, and, building my offensive line this way in the most, I almost said a very politically incorrect word, um, stupid way, and being loyal to people like Alex Kappa over Jackson Powers Johnson, um, or just being disloyal to Jackson Powers Johnson, um, and hiring your son as the offensive line coach when he has no offensive line coaching experience in the NFL, just college. Um, I mean, I could go on and on with the list. Jack Besh not being utilized for over half the season. Um, I just it's baffling to me, and I think if you're gonna like build up a team, it still doesn't make sense to me. And this could be a spy tech issue, but I still theorize that Pete Carroll has more say on like final personnel decisions than people think.
Yeah.
Um, you know, Going for the running back over an offensive lineman just kind of baffles me. And I like Gianti. It's just like getting Brock Bowers a year ago, except I feel a bit stronger about Bowers that he actually is a top three player at his position.
You know,
Um, Immediately.
I think honestly that kind of makes sense. Like that checks out to me if Pete Carroll did have a little bit more involvement in the player personnel. Um, because I mean, he was telling the entire media, he was telling the fans that this team is ready to win now. And typically, a win now team needs to add a running back. It needs to add dynamic playmakers. Which, if the team actually had been a ready to win now team, then that's probably the move that you make, like a game-changing move.
Mhm.
But like it's just like if we take a step back from Pete Carroll and everything, it's just kind of crazy to me. You were talking about Ashton Genty and how, some weeks he doesn't completely flash like a guy like Bijan Robinson or Saquon Barkley. My question to you is, because we've had this discussion like a couple of years ago, um, who is a better NFL running back right now? Like, is it Josh Jacobs or is it Ashton Genty?
Oh, it's not a question. It's Josh Jacobs.
So, do you feel as though the Raiders should have just paid Josh Jacobs, or do you still feel the same way that you don't pay a running back on a team like this?
I think Josh Jacobs would be fucking miserable if he were still with the Raiders right now. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, part of that is the offense, part of that is the coaching staff, all of that. I get the TikTok every here and there, whereas Jacobs on some podcast or something explaining himself for how he left the Raiders, and whoever the GM was at the time, which I want to say it was Ziegler, but it
Ziegler.
might have been Telesco. It might have been Telesco because I wanted. Yeah, last year was Jacobs' first year.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
Champ Kelly. Might have been Champ Kelly.
Well, I
No.
think Telesco was hired, and that was kind of like the first month of his
Yeah.
on the job is going into free agency. And all right, are we going to re-sign Jacobs? And Telesco chose not to. But Jacobs, the way that he tells it is like the Raiders were legitimately not interested. Like he was trying to
Stay.
talk. Yeah, he was trying to stay, and he was talking down his price. Like, okay, well, the market is saying, let's just say it's 14 million or 16 million dollars a year. You won't go down to 12? They're like, no. He's like, 10? No, we're not interested. Oh, well then we got nothing to talk about then. That's the way that he puts it. So if that's the case, that's a Telesco thing.
Damn.
I don't know, but I think paying running backs top tier money is for teams that are, in the obvious playoff picture to
Yeah.
do.
The Ravens last year adding Derrick Henry. The Philadelphia Eagles adding Saquon Barkley last year. Look at what that did to their team.
Yeah. The Niners with
Christian,
McCaffrey.
yeah, Christian McCaffrey a couple years ago.
Um, and I
Meanwhile, the
mean,
Chiefs just win all the Super Bowls and they don't have anybody.
yeah, but not this year. Finally,
Yeah,
um,
that's a big thing.
it's gonna be huge for the AFC. I mean, just a very small tangent. I saw a post that says there's only 4 quarterbacks that have represented the AFC, unless it's 5, in like the past 20 years. It's Peyton Manning,
Mm-hmm.
obviously Tom Brady,
Roethlisberger.
Joe Flacco,
Roethlisberger.
Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's 4 already. I haven't even said Mahomes, and then Burrow.
Oh, so 6.
I guess 6. I don't know what.
But oh, you
Still,
know
that's
what?
that's
You know
insane.
what? It's that one of those 4 quarterbacks has been in the Super Bowl the
More than
past.
once.
No, because Mahomes. All right, Brady went to the Super Bowl in the. Oh, but he played against Mahomes.
Yeah,
Hold on.
I think it was. I think the post was about who has gone more than once. Like only 4 quarterbacks have represented the AFC more than once, and only 2 others have at all.
Yeah.
Burrow and Flacco. Like it's literally just been run by Roethlisberger's Steelers, obviously Brady's Patriots, Peyton Manning with the Colts and Broncos, and then now Mahomes. Just however many fucking years in a row. So the fact that all of them are not in this scenario, somebody new is going to be representing, which is cool.
Josh Allen.
Hopefully it's Josh Allen. Legitimately, that's what I was going to say is Josh Allen. I mean,
See, hopefully
your
Josh
other
Allen,
options.
but it might be Drake May.
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna beat some of those other playoff teams, and also I think the Bills. I mean, just after this past weekend, I think the Bills can take them, obviously. And they might have more playoff experience to their name than a team like the Patriots. Um,
It'd be crazy if this was the year that the Ravens ended up going, but I don't. It's weird. The
I
Bills and
don't
the
see it.
Ravens kind of shock me because of their defense. Their defense is just not good this year.
Yeah, I mean,
What if it's the Steelers?
if this team just locks in on defense and gets hot at the right time, it very well could be the Broncos, considering they're the one seed.
Yeah,
Um,
it's going to
and
be
they
the
have the
Broncos or maybe the Jaguars.
Jaguars would be nuts. That's it's Liam Combs' first year. Um, yeah, that's just frustrating me. Um,
I'm just
yeah,
saying
hopefully
because
it's the Bills.
those are the two. Or all right, the Patriots are in that mix of like having the best defenses in the AFC, and I feel like I don't know. I feel like that's a big thing that nobody talks about. Like everybody talks about the quarterback,
Oh,
but right
yeah, it's a
now,
big
like
factor.
it's a big factor in the playoffs. The defense.
Yep. Yeah, that's why if the Broncos just like lock in on defense and get hot at the right time, it'll probably be the Broncos, barring a Bo Nix fuck up or something. But if the same thing goes for the Bills' offense though, if their offense gets hot at the right time, like they can beat anybody
Mm-hmm.
with Josh Allen. But
Thank you, Josh
that's
Allen.
side, yeah, sidetracked. But as far as embracing the tank, uh, I think the point that I just need to make is just it really just depends on like this offseason is going to be so interesting because the past 3 or so weeks I've been so convinced Pete Carroll is gone. They will draft a quarterback first overall, second overall at worst. Although I think being first overall is way better than being second overall. Um, and then you have to get an offensive minded coach. Like that's the big what will they, won't they question for me. And then the other one being will they, won't they keep John Spytek
Mm-hmm.
as GM. But now, you asking this and whatnot, I do wonder if because we've seen like John Gruden where he came in and he embraced it immediately. You trade Khalil Mack, you trade Amari Cooper. He embraced the tank. I think that's another sign of like benching the quarterback. I think trading Max Crosby would be fully embracing the tank.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it's like we are re fucking building because that's our only asset that makes sense to trade. You can't trade Brock Bowers. You can't trade Ashton Janty.
Watch
Khalil
this
Mack is the
offseason.
only player of particular value that they can trade.
You mean Max Crosby,
And Max, or who did I say?
Khalil Mack?
Excellent. Same thing. My mind's already ready for it. I have built up the immune system for this to happen again.
I'm calling it right now. The Raiders are. It's tough for me to see them trading Crosby because I feel like Crosby is one of those players that just if the Raiders trade him away, the all right, the fans are already going through hell, but like that would be a move to like get people to stop being fans of the Raiders at this point. Like fuck this, like the Raiders have been awful my whole life, like and now they do this shit. Like this that would be what that move would be? That's the Monte Ellis move, which it might be. It's probably the right move for the organization at the time. But do you remember how up in arms Warrior fans were when they traded away Monte Ellis?
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. That to me, trading away Max Crosby is probably necessary, but it's the Monte Ellis move. Uh, Also, I see Fossey T, or is it Facet? I feel like all right. YouTube changed the whole the comment section, and it goes by the username now. So I remember somebody commenting before named Fosse. So I don't know if you're same guy.
Looks like the same photo. Yeah.
Yeah, but welcome back. Uh, he says any team from the AFC is getting beat by the NFC. I don't know about that. All right. So a riddled injury team in the 49ers would beat any team in the Super Bowl if they make it. I wouldn't say any. Like if they played against the Broncos, could I see them winning? Yeah, I could just see them like just putting up way more points than the Broncos, but that like to me the
I
49ers don't have the defense to be able to stop like a serious like if Josh Allen and the Bills made it and it's a shootout, I don't know if the 49ers could, you know, they could definitely score points. I just don't know if they could stop the bleeding enough to win a Super Bowl. I think they're good enough to make
I
it.
I the Niners.
Yeah, I think they're good enough to make it. I think that they've already beaten the Rams. They've already beaten the Seahawks. Obviously, they had Fred Warner, but if Fred Warner comes back, if they end up getting that one seed, they get the first week of the playoffs off. They play a team like Tampa Bay the first round, or like a lower seed NFC team. They stay
I
alive, and then in the NFC Championship play the Rams or the Seahawks.
I want
And
everybody at home to realize just how polar opposite Josh and I are right now about our teams. I am completely hopeless, and you are bordering on delusion. I'm sorry.
okay, I want everybody at home, if you've been watching the podcast for the past 3 years, aside from last year, this is nothing new. We've been polar opposite. Last year it was like, man, everybody's hurt. What the hell is going on? Like, why are we losing these games? Purdy's, we're like, or I was like, man, you can't pay Purdy after this. And then they paid Purdy, and then all of a sudden it's, man, everybody's hurt, including Purdy, but we're still winning because Mac Jones, the GOAT. Uh, Honestly, this has been a fun season.
Yeah. I I will say I Fosse can correct me if I'm wrong because I don't know. The way that I would interpret Fosse's comment is the best team from the NFC is better than the best team from the AFC. Whoever that is.
If the
Do
Rams
I
make it to
think
the
the
Super
best
Bowl,
team
I think
in
they're winning it.
yeah, like that's where my mind goes is like the big 3. So it'd be like Rams, who's the other ones? I guess Seahawks are kind of, I mean, in the running right now, but who are the other top 2 seeds? It'd be, I guess, Packers
In the
and
NFC,
yeah, I'm probably
it's
forgetting somebody.
it's right now the Rams. The Seahawks would be another one of those top teams. There's the Eagles, but they're kind of like they're beatable. They're in a funk, but like you said, the get right game against the Raiders. But they're a team that I feel like even if they have a get right game, the next week they just like lose like 11-12.
Hmm.
And people just shit on Jalen Hurts for like, oh, this is why he's not good, blah blah blah. They're always just going to be like an up and down team, like this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Um yeah, I mean I just it feels like
Oh, we forgot about the
it's
Bears.
the Bears. I need to watch more I'm excited for the playoffs because I'll actually be able to see some teams that I just haven't actually fully gauged because I know the Bears were like the 1 seed as recent as 2 weeks ago, but I haven't like watched them besides like I think a week 2 Sunday night football game against the Bear or the Vikings or something like that. Like I really haven't watched the Bears that much. Like I don't know what their vibe really is. Um I just know that they're winning games, you know.
Yeah,
Uh
I'm excited for like an end of the year, like if we do like an end of the year celebration thing, which I think we should get to happen. Imagine, dude, we hook up Jackbox to the TV and play Jackbox with the fantasy league. Quiplash would be insane with everybody that we have. That would be hella fun, dude.
that'd be good. But just I am excited to. not think about the Raiders, not think about fantasy football, and just watch hopefully good teams go up against good teams and, meaningful football where, winner goes on, loser goes home. I'm ready. I'm excited for that. And also just the fact that this is such a weird year where there isn't this Eagles team to me. I mean, I guess it's the Rams, but there really isn't this Eagles team like last year where it's just like they are dominating and they cannot be stopped. And there's not this Chiefs team that's just the fucking villain that wins year in, year out. They will be there every year. They're gone. They're gone this year. So that's where the question becomes of AFC. Who the fuck is it? Is it the Bills? Is it, geez, the
Is it
Steelers?
the
Is it,
Chargers?
yeah, they're the for sure the wild card team. The Broncos. Um, you know, who is it going to be? And then the NFC. Is it going to be the Rams or is it going to be somebody else? It's
Dude,
interesting.
the Chargers might be getting healthy at the right time. They're like their offense is like kind of up and down, but you know, I mean they just don't have the O line to go on a run actually, but they're a tough team. They're like
Yeah.
a physically tough football team.
Yeah, they could be the type of team that like makes right for their wrongs of the past, which would be I could see them beating a team like the Jaguars
I
and
could
kind of
say I
upsetting
could see
them.
them beating the Broncos.
Yeah, I mean divisional game for sure. Yeah.
That'd be great. Uh, let's see. Only way the Raiders become successful is if Davis gives total football control to Tom.
I understand why people would think that. I mean, there's a few things. For one, I mean, there's the reporting that, which I don't know how true it is, but there's a reporting that Chip Kelly was Tom Brady's guy.
Yeah.
So that's strike one. Um, and then Mark Davis, like I think everybody thinks that he's a fucking idiot and he's an imbecile and he's the reason why this team sucks. I think it's just I think losing breeds losing and success breeds success. And they have not had really much success for years and years and years. And every offseason, especially this past offseason, I talk about their need for continuity. Is that how you pronounce it? Continuity?
Yes.
Not
Yes.
continuity. Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
Just erase that whole. Don't even say continuity anymore because you're gonna keep
yeah.
getting it mixed up. But it's continuity,
Yeah.
man. Continuity.
Yeah.
This
But
has been.
they have this lack of continuity where, you hire a coach. And that's the other, to bring it all full circle to Pete Carroll is like, that's the one aspect to all this of like, I want him fired. But there is a part of me that's like, but that's so fucking frustrating to have another one and done coach 2 years in a row. 2 years in a row. That's terrible. That's the exact opposite of what I've been saying they need, which is continuity. They need somebody to come in, build a program, and breed that success, right? How do you do that? You need to be a good coach, for one. And if he's completely fucking delusional and he thinks that his son is doing a good job when in fact they're the worst at their job, that's a problem that needs to get corrected. But if he's a good coach to where this has always been the process, and that was something I was going to say, is like everybody needs to be on the same page of if we're embracing the tank and all that. If he was spitting his personal true belief of we're going to hit the ground running, we're going to win this year. If that was his belief, I'd probably fire him. But if that was just him trying to, appease to the masses, when really it's, yeah, I'm walking into a fucking hot garbage show, clown show here, and it's going to take some time to fix it, you can't exactly say that to the media, right? You can't expect fans to show up, pay money, whatever. Not that they are, anyways. At least not our fans. If you're saying, yeah, it's going to take some time for us to win some meaningful games, or really any games, period. But I highly doubt that a coach comes in and just accepts that we're not going to win games, especially a guy like Pete Carroll. I just don't think that. So that's where embracing the tank now is the big question of, is he willing to do that? Is a 73-year-old coach, 74, willing to rebuild a team? And then when his contract is up, probably retire right when the team starts getting good? I don't know.
I mean, he could pass it on to somebody good, but I don't know. The Raiders are in a very unique situation, as they've been for the past 20 years. Fossey
Yeah.
says, I was on this channel last year screaming for Ben Johnson or Liam Cohen, both having major success right now. See, that's the problem. Like, the problem is the Raiders don't have that former first round talent at quarterback. They don't.
Yeah.
The the Bears had Caleb Williams, and then the Jaguars had Trevor Lawrence, and so these guys
Those
are offensive. They're offensive minded coaches who, they see the skill set in the players. Like, I mean, even Dave Canales, he went to the Panthers, and the Panthers are in the playoff hunt. Like, they might win their division. They have a
yeah.
chance.
The thing with those teams, even the Panthers, is that they invested into protecting their quarterback and their run game by solidifying their offensive line. And the Raiders, their way of doing that was drafting a running back 6th overall and hiring the son of the head coach to coach their offensive line. So clearly they're playing chess, not checkers, and I just don't see the vision there.
But the problem, I think the biggest problem is that they're not in love with this pass protection. I feel like you could have seen that on film, before ever drafting him. Like, if you didn't think that he could protect the quarterback, like, and it's probably a different game in the NFL than it is in college. Like, in college, you could probably protect a lot better, especially at Boise State. Way different, like, level of competition there. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
that was really my sarcastic way. It wasn't necessarily them. I wasn't saying they drafted Gianti in part to be a pass protector. It was my sarcastic way of saying
No,
they just didn't
no, 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 no.
acknowledge the
That
offensive line.
Do you remember? I'm not acknowledging that. I'm not acknowledging that. I'm acknowledging is them playing Raheem Mostert here and there because I guess Genti or not having Genti in more often because of his pass protection. Like, remember when Dylan Lobby was in on that, like, game winning or what would have been a game winning drive, and
Yeah.
it's because of the pass protection. Like, you're
Yep.
putting your number 6 overall pick, your most dynamic playmaker besides Brock Bowers, on the sideline.
Yeah, I think it was frustrating, especially early in the season, in part because I actually cared at that point. Because, yeah, he wouldn't be on 2-minute drills, presumably because it was a pass every play. Maybe they view Dylan Lobby as a good pass catcher, which he absolutely is, and that was his tape on college film. But also, do they think he's a better pass protector? That's possible, in part because I think for NFL running backs, it takes some time for them to really, you know, get in the rhythm of pass protecting. Like, uh, story of my season, Travion Henderson was the best pass protecting running back in this year's draft, and God love Josh McDaniels. They didn't play his ass until probably week fucking 8. And my fantasy team thanks them, but I think that's in large part because it takes time for them to get comfortable with a running back this early in their career protecting the quarterback in vital games.
Just when you think Josh McDaniels couldn't fuck you more as, as a Raider fan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
uh, well, as a Michael, as
just my
Michael,
fantasy team. Yeah.
yeah. But Fosse brings up this idea. He says Raiders are bringing in Tua next year, calling it right now. That would be the next mistake in a long series of mistakes for the Raiders. I don't think that you bring in Tua.
Yeah, I think it really depends on specifically if they still have Geno Smith on the roster or not.
I'd
Um,
rather have Geno. You know why? Because I feel like Tua is another head injury away from being out for several weeks or retiring.
yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Um,
And you're going to pay him
yeah,
money. He's not coming for cheap.
I have no idea where the fuck Tua is going. Like, the first place that comes to my mind, even though everybody and their mom thinks it's going to be the Raiders, which I don't blame anybody. Like, you're not the first person that I've heard that from today, Lorenzo being the other person. Uh, but I think the Cardinals, like, when I think of a team that would take Tua, like, they trade Kyler, maybe they keep Brissett, and then they sign Tua to, like, a relatively cheap deal with, like, incentives or something. Um, and maybe they try to draft a quarterback too. And
I
then you
got
just have a bunch of options.
I got two interesting destinations. Actually, three.
Yeah,
We got three, I think, decent ones.
I got
So
one.
this is the one
Vikings.
that I thought of last. Well, yeah, Vikings are one of them because Kevin O'Connell. I actually, in seeing JJ McCarthy the other day, like, I don't like him for Justin Jefferson, or at least like, like I I'm gonna remind myself of the veto, and it's gonna piss me off again. But Justin Jefferson, no. All right, JJ McCarthy, I think is actually coming into his own and starting to play well. I think he played very well against. I think it was the Cowboys.
Yeah,
I think he played
yeah.
very well, and they don't have a great defense, but still, like it's encouraging that there's signs there. Like he hasn't played a lot of NFL football, and if he's going to be playing better on the back end, that's good. That's better than him pulling, like peaking early and then, you know, getting figured out. So I could see him there. The next team that I could see Tua on, and this was the last one that I thought of, uh, was if he would back up Michael Penix Jr. on the Falcons, and then he's got significant, injuries. Let's just say that they move on from Kirk Cousins, and then they have two left-handed, uh,
Yep.
quarterbacks. So that way they're kind of running the plays the same way. The receivers don't have to adjust to the spin being the complete opposite way when you catch the football.
That makes the most sense by far. There's no other team you can name that I'd be like, oh, actually, that makes more sense. No, it Falcons. That makes so much sense.
Yeah,
Continue.
and then the last team was the Colts. I could see him being on the Colts because Jones had the Achilles, and maybe they signed Tua to like a small little deal, and then because I don't think Philip Rivers is going to play next year, and maybe
No.
they don't like Riley Leonard all that much, or like they think that their team is good enough to where they need to bring in a veteran, and I could see Tua being that veteran that they bring in to try. You know, I think Shane Steichen could make a little something if Tua is able to, you know, pull together. But I just don't really like Tua that much. But
Yeah,
yeah,
neither do I. And I'm curious what type of money he's looking for. Like this feels like Russell Wilson post Broncos all over again, but worse. Um, the Colts are interesting in large part because Daniel Jones is a free agent. They look like a team that's in win now mode suddenly with the Sauce Gardner trade. But also they have Anthony Richardson. And it's like, what's going to happen there? Because if he develops, if this year off or whatever you want to call it, where he wasn't playing, in part because he got beat out, in part because of his eye injury, like, did he develop? Did he get better? Does he come into next year and just looks better than whoever else they have on the roster? Like, physically, he will. But, mentally and execution wise, will he? That's the question.
did the Chargers sign Trey Lance to a 1 year deal?
think it was a 2-year deal.
I could see, well, if it's a 2-year deal, that's good. That's good for him. I think he's in the right place to get right with Harbaugh. But I
Yeah.
was gonna say maybe he
Um,
could go to Minnesota or the Falcons.
yeah. These are great questions or comments from Fossey. The one that I actually do want to mention, just since we're on the Raiders topic and all that still, and we will move on to the next game after this, um, was the one about Ben Johnson and Liam Cohen. Uh, I think that's the ultimate reason why I want uh, Pete Carroll fired is because it doesn't make sense to me to do this rebuild again with the 74-year-old coach. If you're going to embrace the rebuild, embrace the tank, right? Um, not only does it not make sense with Pete Carroll's age, not only do I not like his coaching staff like practically at all, besides two defensive coaches being obviously Patrick Graham and our defensive line coach, whose name is, passing my brain right now. But other than them, I don't like really anybody on this coaching staff. I don't think. Um, I guess Greg Olson's cool, but if we're gonna draft a quarterback, we should have the coach for him on staff. And if you keep Pete Carroll, you're not gonna have that coach. And if you do get the coach, by the time Pete Carroll retires, most likely, debatable, but that coach, your offensive coordinator, will probably get sniped by another team if you're successful. And if you're not successful, then either way, you're getting a new coach for the quarterback. So just go get Clint Kubiak.
Would you rather have Clint Kubiak, or if Tomlin and the Steelers mutually part ways, would you take Mike Tomlin?
At that point, well, probably Mike Tomlin would choose some other team. But if Mark Davis had any ability and Tom Brady had any ability to court him, they would throw the Brinks trucks at him. Like, that's so up the Raiders' alley of just, you know, great coach from. I mean, he's still a great coach. I was going to say from the past, but it's still a great coach. Just, they'll probably go for some name, you know? And I want them to go for the young offensive mind who is up and coming. And you're starting to get those green flags and the murmurs and the people start talking about their name as an offensive mind in the NFL. That's who they need. That's Clint Kubiak. That
Mm.
is what they need so terribly badly because you get the quarterback, you fix the offensive line. Like, it seems so simple. It's not. It never is with this team. But if you can just get some continuity and success on offense, you can breed more success. So if you get the right quarterback, you get the offensive line a little bit better. Jackson Powers Johnson, Colt Miller get healthy, and they start at their proper positions. Colt Miller, obviously, left tackle, but Jackson Powers Johnson, center. Put him at center. Another thing from this game, just to talk more Raiders and Eagles, was that Charles Grant got on the field a couple times this game as a sixth offensive lineman. And I believe his name is Sanjit T or something like that. I forget. But he has a channel on YouTube, and he will break down film. Charles Grant looked great. I mean, he's a sixth offensive lineman, so it's not like he's, getting the star edge defender on every single play of the game as a left tackle, but he was getting some one-on-ones, and he was holding his own. He was not moving. He looked great. In fact, that was the only time that I did see Ashton Janty not evade a one-on-one tackle, was where Janty ran to the left, off tackle, and Charles Grant was the last offensive lineman, and he was holding his own against, I think it was either Jalix Hunt, or actually it would probably was Jalen Phillips, who used to be on the Dolphins, ex-first round pick. He had him stonewalled, and then a safety came up and just tackled Ashton Janty for no gain, and he had plenty of ground. So just, I want to see those offensive linemen get in the right places and build the line. And then if you have the right coach in hand, which they don't right now, things would get better with the right quarterback. I don't know. It just doesn't seem that hard, but somehow they will make it hard. So I don't know. To
Awesome.
sum all that up, if you're gonna keep Pete Carroll, you got to be on the same page. But I mean, just saying all of that just now, it's like I refuse to keep Pete Carroll. There is a part of me that sees the avenue of why, but I just don't. I don't. There's so many better things to do than that, and especially like if you are embracing the tank, I think firing Pete Carroll or letting him retire or whatever you end up doing is another way to do that. Is okay, clearly we are on different trajectories where he wanted to win now. We can't do that. Get a new young head coach who can last a couple of years, and I guess that's the whole other aspect to this with like Mark Davis is I've seen him give coaches time before where Josh McDaniels year 1 was so bad and yet he got a year 2. Uh John Gruden again embracing that tank where he sold off the fucking farm for first round picks. Well, at that point, you know that it's a rebuild. John Gruden got like 4 or 5 years, and that fourth or fifth year was when they started to win, and then he gets axed by the NFL. Like I've seen Mark Davis have patience with coaches before, but now with Antonio Pierce, and here we are now with Pete Carroll, it feels like he doesn't have the patience, but I know he does. The problem here is, do the fans have the patience? I mean, 20 plus years now of patience. Yeah, sure, but new city. Do we have the same patience in a new city? Right? Like you were saying, if we trade Max Crosby, are there fans that go, you know what? I'm done. There probably are. In fact, I know there will be. Because there is no black and white. There's just a whole bunch of gray and silver and everything in between. So there will be people that say, fuck this, I'm out. And then there will be people like me who's like, I guess I'm stuck with you. So, but to make a long story short, this offseason will be very interesting because this conversation makes me realize I have no idea what the fuck they're going to do. But I know in my heart of hearts what they should do. And that's fire Pete Carroll, the entire staff, start it over, and for all I care, trade Max Crosby. Start it over.
I think we can move on to predict the Raiders versus Texans game. Uh, the Texans are hot right now. They are red
Yeah.
hot. I personally, I don't want to get into too many specifics, but I mean C.J. Stroud he's finally back after Davis Mills took over for a couple weeks, and like once Davis Mills got in there, like something clicked and they all just started playing very well. But it all really started with that defense, and that defense is going to absolutely. I feel like it's going to give the Raiders a very very hard time. They've got a great secondary. They've got a great they've got a great linebacker in Aziz Al Shair. They've got is Will Anderson still healthy?
I believe so. I believe he's killing it. If I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
So I I mean I just think that these two teams are not they're not in the same stratosphere. Like
The,
Fossey puts it, he says 35-3 Texans. I almost said Raiders.
the Texans are another team in that AFC playoff picture conversation that we completely forgot about. Like I I don't think the Colts are making the playoffs, and I think the Texans are. And I think the Texans are absolutely this interesting wildcard team. Man, I can't wait for the playoffs. Jeez. There's not a conversation to be had here. The Texans are going to win this game. The only conversation worth having right now, and then we'll go on to the Niners, is just how, like, I did one of these, like, I did one of those when I realized that my fantasy defense, the Houston Texans, was going to get the mother of all matchups this week in the fantasy playoffs against the Raiders offense, and I got eliminated last week. That fucking stung to see that. Like, I didn't realize we were playing them this week until until the week was already over, and then it's like, all right, what's going on next week? And I see the Texans versus Raiders. I'm like, wow.
Speaking of fantasy defenses and I guess moves, what do you think of my moves?
Oh, yeah, I mean, so I saw, I just woke up to, obviously my alarms for work and everything, and I saw the waivers went through, which that's another conversation to be had. Is I think we should actually, that should be another thing that be talked about this offseason with any other rule changes, is the whole locking out teams. Um, because I don't think we did that on Yahoo before. The difference is on Yahoo there was no consolation bracket. So like anybody
There
complaining
was
about
there
not
was
being
a
able to
consolation bracket.
on Yahoo?
Yeah. Yeah, we did that every year.
Wow, damn it. Yeah. So I
I
just
have the solution.
mm,
The solution is we put the minimum fab bids to $1 and everybody else once you get eliminated from the playoffs, your team doesn't get locked, but you are
you
automatically
lose your
for
fab.
you lose your fab. So
Yeah, I
you get
agree.
to pick up anybody who doesn't get a claim put on them.
Yeah,
Oh, well, I guess anybody after the waivers have run, because they can't make a $0 claim.
sure. Yeah, I mean that's fine with me. I just it's really not that big of a deal. It was just weird seeing only four teams making waiver claims, and I don't think Jordan made any.
That's how
But
it
to
happened
answer your
last year.
question, yeah, yeah, I mean, I was in that race, so it was a different perspective.
Yeah.
Um, uh, I saw you picked up the Patriots defense.
I don't know how they were available.
I think Lorenzo dropped him. I think Lorenzo is seriously dropping the ball right now because not only did he drop, I think I might be wrong, but I want to say he had the Patriots defense at one point. Maybe it was Alex, but I know Lorenzo had the Saints defense, and I was sitting here like, well, I have a shot at winning, so I'm going to pick their asses up because I don't want my opponent to pick them up because the Saints have great matchups the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't look at anybody else. Okay, the reason I knew about the Saints was because of my other leagues. Like I know in my other leagues, I'm like, I need the Saints defense because the Texans aren't available. Like my plan was to start the Texans defense this week and next week. Barring I'm in it, which I'm not. Um, so I didn't look at the Patriots. I didn't realize, and I should have thought of it, I guess, but I didn't realize they had the Jets the final week of the season. So I don't know. I forget. Oh, you also got the tight end from the Rams. Yeah. Um.
And I would have had 10 more dollars to spend too.
What are you out?
I got four. I have $4.
Yeah. I mean,
I was putting it all on the
it's
Patriots.
yeah. From my perspective, like I get the $10 thing and the veto being upsetting to some degree, but from my perspective, it has certainly worked out just fine. Um, especially with this week's waivers. Uh,
It's the principle.
right. But to answer your question, yeah, I realized I looked at the matchups and I was like, well, then he must be starting the Patriots. Like, who do the Patriots play this week? And then I saw you're starting your other defense, and I was like, what the fuck? And then I looked at the Patriots schedule, and I was like, okay, that was a for next week move, which is something I do all the time. Um, and I just think at least 8 of the 10 managers don't do that.
I literally, I'm not gonna lie. I took a page out of your playbook. On the Hey, you know what? Maybe I should be a week ahead of these defenses because you always hoard all the good defenses in the playoffs. So like literally I can directly attribute like the spark of that idea to you. But this week I was brilliant with the like I really felt this was the first week all season where I didn't stay up until midnight for waivers, partly because I just couldn't and I had to wake up at
Oh,
5 something. Uh like I was ready to knock out and I did knock out last night. But uh I was like, all right, it just felt so clear to me the moves that I had to make, and the claims that I put in.
mm,
And I was surprised. All right, Lorenzo put the same fab on Eddie Pinheiro that I did. And poor Lorenzo, that happened to him with Cam Dicker a couple weeks ago. He
mm.
put the same amount that I did, or maybe I just put $1 above him, so he's gotten it kind of twice from me, like of getting sniped on the waiver transactions.
Yeah. I didn't look at how much fab everybody else had. Um, I don't know how much Joey had or anything, but I'm definitely curious. Because obviously you put like 43 on the Patriots or whatever you did. Um,
I put 34, but yeah.
okay, 34.
Because
Okay,
I
so
had I
but
had 33. Well, I had 30 at first, then I put 33. Then I realized Joey has 33, and he has like waiver claim priority over me. So I was like, I'll just throw in another dollar
mm,
because I was like,
how would Joey have the priority over you?
because like the tiebreaker goes to that little number in the parentheses
Mm,
where um what happens is it starts. You remember how our waivers used to work,
like
where
rolling.
if you had, so it does both. I don't know if you know that, but
Mm,
every time you pick up a player for zero fab or for the same amount as somebody else, it resets you.
interesting. Wow.
So if you
Yeah.
have the same bid as somebody else, you get redirected.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that. I only knew that, or I only thought that the tiebreakers, if you put the same bid, was based off of. Well, I guess I kind of knew because I knew it was based off of your seeding. So, like, you're the sixth seed, so you would be, higher, whatever the word was, priority than
Yeah,
Joey because he was the one seed.
yeah. So like
But
right now I'm number 10, or I've got that 10 right next to my $4 because
yeah,
I just got that tiebreaker over, you know.
yeah. Uh, the way that I thought it worked wasn't necessarily the tiebreaker, but was once you make a move that week, then you fall down to the bottom of the thing, and then it keeps going until all the moves are done. So like the way that I thought it worked, and maybe this is just in other leagues, is
It
if
yeah.
you make a bid for doesn't matter how much fat, let's say $1, and four other guys, so 5 out of 10 guys, make completely different bids
Yeah.
on completely different players. Um, you start the week with your seeding. So you're the sixth seed. You have the fifth highest priority or whatever because it's reversed. So if you're the 10th seed, you have the top priority out of 10, right? If you're the top seed in the league, you would have the bottom priority for waivers. But the fab obviously controls it. So if you put up more fab than somebody else, you're going to get the
Yeah,
player.
that's
That's why I like
they
that.
they do that in other leagues.
Mm.
Uh and I personally don't like that. I like what we do much more.
Well, from what you're explaining, I like it our way too.
Because
Um,
then I would just have priority over Joey just because I'm the lower seed, or I would have priority over Lorenzo because I'm the lowest seed left. You know what I
right.
mean?
Well, I don't know if I finished because once you make the move, so you start the week when waivers run, it's off of the standings.
Yes, and then it
And then
goes.
you make a pick. Like, so, okay. Let's say the bottom, let's say all 10 teams make a move.
Yeah.
So then, and it goes one move by one, it seems like. So first priority, and you have, let's say you make 5 waiver claims, and you get to choose your priority for those picks. So then each person does one, right? That goes by their priority. And then it goes in order of that priority of like you go down to the bottom. So if you're the top priority for a waiver and you pick up a player, now you're down at 10. But then 2 through 9 also made claims, so now they're behind you again. So then you start over. Then your second claim. But if after on that second one, only 5 people do it. So then it goes down, you're down to it gets confusing, but you're above those other 5 people because you were the first claim. And then there's 3 people left. Like, I guess at that point it depends on how many claims you make to where you end up on the list. But then after that, for that week, wherever you finished from the waivers, that's your spot for that week. And then I would assume every week it resets to the standings. I could be wrong.
Yeah. The way it works in ours, let's say I have 5 claims. Or let's just keep it simple. I have 3 claims, right? Claim number 1, I put $10 on Chris Godwin. Claim number 2, I put $5 on the Patriots defense. Claim number 3, I put no dollars on Eddie Pinheiro, right? And let's say I have the number 1 claim, right?
Yeah.
That first one for Chris Godwin, let's just say I win that. I lose my $10 fab, but my claim stays the same because nobody else put a bid. But number 2, somebody else puts a bid. You know, I put $5, and then somebody else puts a bid, let's just say $2. My claim stays the same.
Because you beat them?
Because I beat them in fab, and it wasn't a tie.
Right.
Claim number 3, I get Eddie Pinheiro for $0, and somebody else had a $0 claim, and so we tied, and then the tie goes based off that number, and then since I had a higher number than the other person who made the claim, the other person keeps their number, or actually goes up, because mine goes down all the way to the bottom.
Right.
And then if I make another claim and I win another, well, I wouldn't win another tiebreaker. But, you know,
right.
Like,
unless somebody else wins a tiebreaker and then they go behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
That makes a lot of sense. And now that you've explained it, it makes even more sense because the leagues that I'm thinking of aren't fab. So that makes sense specifically for fab. Now I get it.
Yep.
Got it.
All right, so I've got Texans. You've got Texans?
Yeah, it's not a question. They should shut us out, like, legitimately. I would say
28
I like
nothing.
Fosse's. Yeah, I like Fosse's 35-3. I'll say, 28-0, 31-0, something like that. I mean, literally what the Eagles just did. Maybe 24-0.
28-0. Book it.
Yeah. But chances are, more likely, it's like you said, 35-3, 28-3. Like, they'll get at least one score in. Like, let's be honest. But it's top defense, so we'll see.
All right. Now we can finally go with our first topic that we didn't get to because the intro got botched with technical difficulties. And so I just had Mike, spearhead the entire thing with the Raiders. So now we've got the long part of the show out of the way, because, I mean, really, all right, let's just have our teams kind of reflect the way that our podcasts go, So, like, watching a Raider game for a Raider fan is like, really long, like, oh my God, I got to sit through this, got my eyes open. That's how it feels to really talk about the Raiders. And then when I talk about the Niners, it's like, oh, it goes by so quick, but it's because, I'm like, caressing like a beautiful season, beautiful team. Like just got the 49ers right here. Excuse me. No, stupid. The 49ers, they beat the Tennessee Titans, and I find it kind of interesting, kind of the way that it went down, because I thought it was going to be not as good of a game as it was. The 49ers were firmly in control of this one, but I feel like the Titans scored a lot more points than I originally kind of anticipated. So, they were able to gain 306 total yards, which, I mean, I guess it makes sense for a team that's trying to come from behind. I view them as like the worst team in the NFL, especially like on the offensive side. Well, I mean, really on the defensive side too, but just kind of the fact that they were able to score was kind of, I mean, there's always going to be measuring sticks during the season, and this is like one where if the 49ers play against, I mean, really anybody going forward, the 49ers better be prepared to win shootouts, like in the playoffs. They better be prepared to score points.
Yeah. Can I just say really quick, the
Yeah.
Titans scoring, so what was the final score?
37-24.
24. Okay. I mean, you put up 37, so it sounds like some garbage time was definitely allowed in there.
Yeah, 14 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. So.
Jeffrey Simmons caught a touchdown.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
The reason why I, for lack of a better term, because this isn't exactly how I said it. Like I said, maybe perhaps or something like that. But if I called you like delusional or whatever, or on delusion, whatever I said about seeing the Niners as like they could do it. They can go to the Super Bowl. Like the reason why I'm like no they can't is because of their defense. It's because of their lack of a pass rush, and really a not that great secondary to go with that. Like I think you're gonna meet a team like the Rams if they're healthy, and the reason I say this is because of Devontae Adams, but or the Seahawks in their passing game right now, or the Packers, or somebody else that I'm not thinking. I guess the Eagles, debatable, but they're just gonna pass all over you. And at that point, you better hope it's a shootout. You better hope that the opposing defense, isn't good. Because in that case, you guys could score along with a high scoring team, and that's how you can win a game and like sneak out a win, kind of like the Rams game, the first Rams game this year, where like you had just lost, I think Fred Warner, and you had already lost Nick Bosa, and it was like, yeah, they're about to get fucking trampled, and you guys pulled out a tough, gritty win. Yeah. Could you do that in the playoffs? Absolutely. Am I expecting you to do that 3 times as a wild card team? Not really. Not against the Rams, so on and so forth. Am I trying to be Mr. Negative right now? No, I'm not trying to be. It's just that's just my realistic take on this team. And I'd feel great for you guys if you go to the Super Bowl. I can't see it happening. And I think that a team like the Titans scoring 24 on you isn't as much of a shock to me as it might be to other people.
I didn't say I expect them to go to the Super Bowl. I want to make it very clear. Like the expectations for me for this football team is not to go to the Super Bowl, but I do think that this team can win one or two playoff games.
It was that you could see it.
I could see it, and here's the reason why. So, all right, teams, I mean, everything in the NFL changes from week to week, and obviously the 49ers have had all their injuries since like the beginning of the season and even leading into the season. I could see it happening because the Rams lost to the Panthers. I feel like the Rams are a beatable team. Devontae Adams is battling that hamstring injury, so we'll see just kind of how that affects the Rams' shot at the 1 seed. you know?
This
And
tomorrow.
yeah. Uh, is it, what do you mean tomorrow? They play Thursday? Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's going to be the
Big game.
First Thursday night game where two 11-win teams are playing against each other.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is a massive game. I am rooting for the Rams to lose that one because if they lose, then the 49ers control their own destiny for the 1 seed.
Mm.
And I think the Rams are beatable. They're not as healthy. If the Rams were to come into the 49ers house, like that's the thing. The Niners can play at their own tempo at Levi's. It's kind of crazy. Like I think that they're all right, say what you want about like the stadium itself, but there is kind of an atmosphere at Levi's that is just different than other stadiums. And take that with a grain of salt for me, because I'm only saying this from the perspective of watching the game on TV. Like each stadium kind of feels like it has their like own vibe to it. But when I watch 49er games, to me something like I feel like the Niners do have a good home field advantage. Not like, you know, they're not like the 12th man, Seattle. Like it's not like that where they're just going to like the other team can't hear themselves. But I do think that the fans get into it. The 49ers do have a very passionate fan base, and I do see like a level of comfort when they do play at home. And this has been a thing I think since Shanahan took over. Um, so credit to Shanahan for that. Even when they weren't good, it was like, oh, the Niners are at home. They just play a little like it's a different pace.
I will
Um,
say my negative talk on the Niners in the playoffs is on the assumption that they're like the 6th or 7th seed. If
yeah,
they manage to get themselves the 1 seed, yeah, they can win a lot. They can win any game.
yeah,
And in all fairness, they can win any game. Period. Like there is the avenue. I'm not
yeah.
saying there is no way. It's just my mind takes me to okay. 9 times out of 10, that defense is not going to get it done in the
No,
playoffs when it matters. Like the players on the field aren't going to get it done. The other thing I was going to say earlier, really quick, if they do get it done, Robert Saleh will be a head coach next year.
yeah, 100%. If they
And
win a
he's
Super
either
Bowl,
way
Saul is
he's
gone.
getting looks. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's getting looks this offseason for sure because he's done a good job regardless. Like the personnel that he's working with is insane.
yeah. So, all right, in this game specifically, the Titans were able to run the football. Tony Pollard had 14 carries for 104 yards and a touchdown. Tyjae Spears had 3 carries for 34 yards, very efficient. Um, and really, this is gonna sound kind of crazy because I haven't kept up to date with like other 49er content creators or really like I didn't get a chance to watch like Grant's post game thing because I've just been like swamped with work. Um, but like I think Diamador Lenore kind of got cooked in this game. I'm not gonna lie. I was there. There were a couple replays where I'm like, where I saw Lenore just he got beat, and I don't see that very often from him. But then again, you don't really get to see the secondary all the time. There was a play where Renardo Green definitely got beat, and Van Jefferson would have had a walk-in touchdown if he had a better quarterback. Um, so if the 49ers had been playing a better football team, like they will play in the playoffs, I could see where, you know what, maybe they lose a game 38-37, right?
Mm.
But man, you see where the Raiders are an unlucky football team, the 49ers get pretty lucky here and there. Like, I'd say the 49ers have really good fortune, and then their fortune just fucking stops at the crisis moment. Like, oh my God, we're going to win the Super Bowl. And it's it just all comes crashing down. Or, I mean, the Niners are unlucky when it comes to injuries, like, throughout the season, but when they do, like, need things to break their way, a lot of the times it does, compared to other teams.
Mm.
Um, I'll give you an example. The NFC Championship game 2 years ago against the Detroit Lions, like the Niners were dead in the water, and the Lions kept going for it on fourth down, and it like really cost the Lions. And then also Purdy throwing what should have been an interception, but it bounced off the defender's face, and Brandon Ayuk caught it. Like, there's moments like that where it's just kind of crazy. Like, sometimes it's just better to be lucky than to be good, you know? And if I could see a scenario where this team continues to win games even in the playoffs just by having that like little luck factor,
They also have the playoff, experience.
Yeah,
I
they
think
do.
that's something that's going for them.
They do have playoff experience with guys like George Kittle, Kyle Juszczyk, um,
Trent Williams,
Jawan
Purdy,
Jennings, yeah, Williams, Purdy, Jennings, um,
and
Colton
the coaching
McKivitz,
staff.
the coaching staff. Trying to think of if there's any. Yeah, there's not many others. They don't have like Eric Armstead anymore. They don't have. They're missing Fred Warner. They don't have Dre Greenlaw. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, this is very much like, yes, they have experience, but there's a lot of like brand new players that they're playing with. And it just sucks because the run defense did take like a huge hit after Mykel Williams got hurt. But yeah. And then Fossey says 49ers get the 1 seed if they win out and the Rams and Seahawks lose at least one game. So here's the thing. The Rams losing one game probably has to be the Seahawks this week. I don't know. I forget who the Rams play after, but I'm pretty sure the Seahawks are going to be probably the best team that the Rams play the rest of the season.
For sure. So I saw a TikTok explaining it, not to cut you off. The Rams play the Seahawks, and then the other two teams that they face, it's going to be, yeah, because what week is it? 15?
It's 16. Week 16.
16. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So then 17, 18. They play Atlanta and Arizona. They're going to win those games.
Yeah, for sure. And then also, it really benefits them to win against the Falcons because if they win, they improve their draft capital.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then the Seahawks losing one game, we all know what that one game needs to be. It's got to be week 18 against the 49ers. I am praying. Oh my God. I'm praying. All right. First and foremost, I'm praying for the Niners to win out, but I am praying for the Seahawks to beat the Rams this week. So that way, I want week 18 to mean something. I don't want week 18 to be, oh, both these teams have clinched. They're really not doing anything. Because the Niners are going to be at home wearing their rivalry jerseys for the first time. The black uniforms that they unveiled and have never worn. They saved it to week 18 for whatever reason. Like, I want another game like the one in 2019, final game of the season. Or another exciting one was the final game of the 2021 season, against the Rams. That one was also very fun too. Let's see here. I did want to just kind of touch base on Brock Purdy. Played very well. Rightfully so. He was playing against the Titans, who gave up like 400 yards to Shadur Sanders. So Purdy was 23 of 30, 295 yards, 3 touchdowns, and Purdy was great. McCaffrey had 22 carries for 73 yards, a touchdown, and Purdy ran a lot more in this game. I noticed. I feel like he's past the toe injury. Knock on wood, hopefully, but he's moving around a lot better. Brian Robinson Jr. I actually don't even know how he ended up with 9 carries, but he did 9 carries for 21 yards. And then Ricky Pearsall, I guess, is going to be like the next notable player that I was going to bring up because he was playing, I think, very well in this game until he had a very dirty hip drop tackle go against him and they didn't call it. And in real time, I saw it and I was like, that's a hip drop tackle. And then the replay looks way worse. I don't know why they made it a rule except for the fact that it's going to bail out some team or like it's going to screw over some team in the playoffs when they call it after not calling it all season. So Pearsall
maybe they just like
can't see it.
I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but it's almost like they made the rule just to appease to all the people on offense that were bitching and moaning.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, but we're not going to fucking call it.
Yeah. True.
I don't know.
Yeah. But so that hip drop tackle happened and then so Pearsall's like it caused Pearsall's knee to like bang into the ground, and that's the knee that he had the PCL injury on, and now he like re-aggravated it, and he's got an ankle injury. I'm not expecting much from Pearsall for the rest of the year, to be honest, except maybe in the playoffs. But I don't know. That PCL injury can be very, very. It can hold out receivers for very long because look at Drake London. Maybe he's coming back this week. He has a PCL. Puka Nacua missed like 8 weeks last year with it. Pearsall missed like all of this year with it. That's one of those injuries where it's like it's a killer. Let's see. Fossey says 49ers are way more focused this year. The leaders are all about business. Trent, CMC, and even Kittle are all super serious when they talk to the media. Hey, man, if this is the team that gets it done, I feel like that will make up for the stacked teams that we had, that didn't get it done. Maybe not make up, but hey, I'd be happy because the only thing I've ever wanted was to see the 49ers win the Super Bowl, and I've never seen it, and I've only seen heartbreak. So you better be right, or I'm going to find you, and I'm going to be sad. But yeah, I think that's really it for what I wanted to talk about regarding 49ers Titans. I think we can maybe talk about 49ers Colts and then call it a pod. This game to me is going to be pretty interesting because Phillip Rivers is playing, and that's really going to be like the biggest story of the game. Obviously, all right, the big thing for the Niners this week is whether or not that the Rams are going to lose. But if the Rams lose, I expect the 49ers to. I mean, this is going to be
fire.
Maybe have some fire, but honestly, they should have some fire anyway. It's going to be Monday Night Football.
I guess I should say like reignited, like throwing fucking what do you call that stuff? The
gang signs? I'm just playing.
The thermal flame or whatever the hell it's called, like throwing gas on the fire. Like if the Rams lose, like it's like throwing a fucking propane tank on a camping fire. Like just the Niners should just explode in excitement and of like if we just win out, we will be the 1 seed. Is that true? Like if you guys win out, you would be the 1 seed at that point?
If the Rams lose and the Niners win out, they would become the 1 seed.
So you're currently tied with every other team, Packers, Bears, all those. Like none of them can win out and beat you guys off the 1 seed?
Niners would control their own destiny. So
Wowzers.
Yeah, so it's very important for the Rams to lose. And let me just tell you, think about this, Mike. All right. Niners get, in the event that they're the 1 seed, they get the first round bye. Then they play the divisional round. Let's just say they win. Then they have an opportunity to play in an NFC Championship game, which will determine whether or not an NFC Championship game at home, which will determine whether or not they play in 2 weeks at Levi's.
At home? Oh, shit.
They don't even have to travel.
Wow. Oh, I am so sorry that Fred Warner and Nick Bosa got hurt this year.
Yeah.
Damn.
If Fred
you guys
Warner
have a
comes
solid
back,
shot at it, but fuck.
dude, he's been in
That's
like a cryogenic chamber, like trying to heal. Like, if he comes back, I'm telling you, like,
damn.
Wouldn't that be insane?
If you get the 1 seed, that divisional round, you'd get the lowest seed possible. So you get somebody like whoever the 4 seed is. I mean, they'll probably lose to the 5 seed. So
no, it'd be the 7th seed. Or after the wild
they'd have
card.
to win.
Yeah.
Yeah. But let's just say the 7 seed loses, the 6 seed loses, but the 5 seed is like it's either the Seahawks or the Bears or the Packers. Like, you can beat them. You totally could. Oh my god, imagine the Seahawks just 2 weeks after the Week 18 fight where you guys win it, and then you get a rematch, and then you beat them again. That'd be nuts, dude. And then NFC Championship just like that. Oh my god.
Oh, speaking of which,
I'm just a poor suffering Raider fan.
Hey, download the NFL One. Download the NFL One Pass app. Because I think that might be the way that we might be able to get into media night if we do end up going. Like, okay. I don't know how it's going to feasibly work with me and traffic, because media night is typically on like a Monday.
Okay.
So, like, I don't know what time that starts, but I could just imagine if I'm, you know where I'm working at now, and then driving all the way to Santa Clara, I just don't know how that would work. But it would be cool just to have the opportunity. And I want to check out if they do, like, I know when Super Bowl 50 was over here in the Bay Area, they did like Super Bowl City, and like they had like festivities and stuff. I feel like that would be like kind of cool to check out.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to do it again in SF, or if they're going to like do the San Jose Convention Center stuff or whatever.
Yeah. As long as it's not Union Square or wherever the hell
Pierce. Oh, where Pierce. Union Square is not too bad. Just don't wear a freaking Rolex.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. But
it also probably matters if it's like super packed with people.
Mm-hmm. But God, dude, like I feel like any team in the playoffs can win.
That's the thing. That's what's so interesting about this year. That's why I keep saying I'm so excited for the playoffs, is because genuinely I have no idea. I wouldn't be shocked at all if the Eagles lose round 1 of the playoffs. They're the defending champs. The Chiefs aren't going to be there. Like, it's anybody's playoffs this year. And like you said, I don't think the Rams are this unbeatable team. Like, I just assume they're the favorite, but they can absolutely get beat by many teams. There's the Broncos as the 1 seed, but I could see the Texans beating them. Yeah. I could see so many teams, the Chargers, like, it's anybody's game. It's so interesting this year. And I really hope it's Josh Allen at the end of it all.
Yeah, so let's talk about what the 49ers... Oh, I hope it's not Josh Allen. I hope it's the 49ers. And if it's not, then thank you, Josh Allen. Thank you, Josh Allen. Dude, honestly, Josh Allen, if he does win a Super Bowl this year, like, that would just be like the ultimate, like, hey man, this guy won at life. He just won MVP, the year before, and then he got married to Haley Steinfeld, and then like now he's having a baby with Haley Steinfeld, and then I won the Super Bowl. Okay, Josh Allen, we get it. You're good at everything.
Yeah, and you're just super cool and like have a great personality. What a dick.
Yeah. Oh my God. I already know the way it's gonna happen. It's like, can the 49ers be the team of destiny? And then it's Josh Allen just beat his former, like the team that he grew up rooting for.
Yeah.
Or he's
In
playing.
his
Oh
or
my
in
God!
their stadium.
That's what it's gonna be. 49ers Bills Super Bowl. Josh Allen's gonna be playing against his childhood team. No, I mean that's going way too far ahead. But
Yeah.
hey, honestly, my honest prediction right now is either from the AFC, it's either going to be the Broncos, the Broncos or the Bills, which I don't know about picking the Bills with that defense, but I think it's going to be the Broncos versus either the Rams or the Eagles. I think the Eagles are up and down. It wouldn't shock me if they're a first round exit, but it also wouldn't shock me if they just repeated.
Get hot. Yeah, get hot at the right time. I mean, if I had to pick right now, let me look at the standings just to see all the teams. Really quick. Standings. Let's see, playoff. Okay, so Denver, New England, Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, Chargers, Buffalo, Houston, top 7. And then Rams, Bears as the 2 seed. Motherfuck. That's so insane to me. Eagles, Tampa Bay, Seattle. Oh my gosh. Wow. And then Niners, Green Bay, Detroit as the 8th seed. Which they don't have a good defense. That's why they're not in the playoffs right now. Well, I'll tell you, it's not going to be a team from the NFC South or the AFC North. I don't have faith in the Steelers or the Ravens. The Ravens are currently the 9 seed, 500. If I had to pick 2 teams, I mean, goddamn, unfortunately, I would pick Denver.
Damn, Denver going to the last time they were in the Super Bowl, they were in that exact same stadium. Imagine being a Broncos fan and like you buy tickets to both, both the Super Bowls, and you watch your team in the exactly 10 years apart, I think, or 10 years
It
apart.
really, I think if this team just got the run game going, I could see them getting hot at the right time, and that's the Texans. With that defense, I really do think if their offense just gets efficient and gets hot at the right time, they can beat anybody.
Are they going to make it to the playoffs is the question. They started so bad.
I mean, right now they're 9-5 with a matchup with the Raiders.
How'd they end up 9-5?
Yeah, they're hot.
Oh,
They're hot, and they have Stroud playing good finally. Where they just had a really good offensive showing this past week. Yeah, I could see them. And then from the NFC, I feel like me personally, I'd probably choose Rams, Seattle, or Green Bay. And then the main wild cards being Chicago and the Niners.
Yeah. Also, Fossey, you said I don't see Drake May or Bo Nix being reliable in the playoffs yet. They're both, 1 year to shine in the playoffs. Here's my rebuttal to that. Jimmy Garoppolo threw like 8 passes in the NFC Championship game and went to the Super Bowl. The Broncos defense alone is good enough to shut down a lot of those AFC teams. Even a team like the Bills, who don't have great receivers, if they get shut down, and then they force Josh Allen to kind of have to do everything, that might not be the matchup that the Bills want. As for Drake May, I think he's honestly, I feel like Henderson opens up a lot in that offense. Just that big playability. Not to rub salt in the wounds, Mike. I haven't been starting him, so at least you don't have to feel extra horrible,
No, yeah. I mean, it's partially that if I had him this week and I started him over Hampton, I would have won. But also, this was the vision. Like, ever since I cut him, it's been like, yeah, I knew this was coming. Why did I cut him? It's a big fat slap. I cut him for Joe Burrow, who ends up losing me the fantasy playoff matchup. Whatever.
Hold on. But it was not coming until Ramondre got hurt. And now that Ramondre's back, he still is getting a big chunk of that offense. It's just that Trayvon's better.
Yeah. But
He
that
always
was my
he
problem,
always
though.
was better.
He always was better, and that's why I'm frustrated with myself, is because that's the tendency year in and year out, is if they're better, they will play eventually. Just some teams are less lenient than others with playing rookies immediately, and you have to be patient, unfortunately.
I wouldn't say always, because I still feel like Braylon Allen was better than Brees Hall this year, or like last year. And I mean, he got hurt this year, but I mean, that's neither here nor there. 44-year-old Phillip Rivers, Mike, is he going to stand in the way of the 49ers this weekend and their hopes to capture that 1 seed? What do you think?
This is another reason why the Texans are going to make the playoffs, is because the team right behind them, the Texans are 9-5, the Colts are 8-6. They're going to lose to the Niners this week. Phillip Rivers, if you watch him, he looks like a 44-year-old quarterback when he throws the ball. He doesn't look good.
I've never seen a quarterback that fat.
I didn't notice him looking fat. It was more of his throwing motion, which admittedly his
It's
throwing motion has
always
kind of always been
it's
wonky,
always
but
been
now
bad.
it looks like a guy that's really trying to throw the ball when, like, I mean, half the game it was as expected. Half the game was just dump offs, you know? And that's
No, it
just
was
not going to get it done.
his motion was always like that bad. I think that's why I never liked Phillip Rivers.
Yeah,
I
but you
just
guys, at the
it
end of
looked
the
like
day,
it
no matter what,
hurts to throw the
yeah,
football like that.
he had ice packs everywhere. Um, at the end of the day, you guys are going to score more points than the Colts. I feel confident in that.
Yeah. Yeah. 49ers haven't had a sack in 4 weeks. That ends this Sunday. What's a sack? No, I'm just kidding. Obviously
Well, the only
joking.
reason why it might not, end this Sunday is because if the
Rivers
Colts,
knows where to go with his dump offs.
yeah, and just they cater the offense to, let's just not get sacked. Like, let's have somebody available to be thrown to, you know,
Dude, you know who's
in
gonna
the flat.
eat? You know who's gonna eat this Sunday?
Is it Jonathan Taylor?
Jonathan fucking Taylor is gonna eat this Sunday. That run defense, they're just gonna run the ball.
Yeah.
That's gonna be probably the big game plan.
Hmm.
If I'm telling you, if the Titans could run for 100 and what was it, 130 something or 140 on the Niners defense, then I'm pretty sure that the Titans, with like the leading rusher in the NFL, could do more damage. Let's see the team stats. Team stats. Yeah, 136 rushing yards against the Niners. Just two less than the Niners had, mind you. Tony Pollard had more rushing yards than McCaffrey this past week. You know, think about that. By a lot. McCaffrey had 22 carries for 73. Pollard 14 for 104. Sorry, 14 for 104. I don't know. I think Jonathan Taylor is going to have a big week. That's going to be the biggest threat to the 49ers, because I don't see their offense like stopping scoring points. They might kick some more field goals than scoring touchdowns, but I feel like I feel pretty good that the Niners are going to be able to put up high 20s, low 30s.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
and I don't think that the Colts have. I mean, Jonathan Taylor might have like 120 yards, 2 touchdowns, but that might be the only 2 touchdowns they get.
Mm.
Right? Fossey says, CJ West, your time to shine. Yeah, whatever happened to CJ West? I haven't heard CJ West in, oh God, it feels like forever. And then, honestly, like it's been so hard to keep up with, who's playing each position, with all the injuries. And then also, like, I started a new job and I've been like, I've been working overtime here and there. And so I don't get to like pay attention to every single update. But let me tell you. Let's see. Alfred Collins and CJ West are going to bottle up JT. I'm not banking on it. And I like them. But yeah, I'm going with the 49ers. Mike, you?
Yeah, 49ers.
All right. Well, that's the show. I thought it was a pretty solid episode. Fosse, we definitely appreciate you for tuning in. And all right, I'm very scared to pronounce this all together because I feel like, all right, it probably is his real name, but what if it's like one of those things where I sound it out and it just sounds, sounds bad,
Well, it looks like it's Nick Suck Me Off.
No, it's
Oh, sorry, Nick
Samarikov. Yeah,
Yeah, I was totally joking.
But like, the types of names that I'm talking about, Mike, like Jack Koff.
Yeah, or what's the popular one on like Twitter? There's that one guy with like the doctor's outfit. Barry McCockiner.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Fosse says, "Cheers, boys." Yeah, it's Fosse. You guys are correct. Yeah, see, hey, at least we remembered because it says at Fosse. Honestly it says at Facet or at Facet. 925. But I do remember
Fosse T.
Before YouTube made this like update, it was there was somebody commenting named Fosse. So we remembered you. Don't worry. It's just didn't remember the username, but we saw Fosse T. That's what I assumed it was. So yeah, thank you for chatting and honestly, great comments, great questions, great adding the whole Tua idea to the Raiders portion. We definitely appreciate that you took time to watch us live today. So, until next time, Mike, do you have any last words? Are you going to say fire Pete Carroll?
Well, it'd be go Texans. And then next week, or the following week, is the big one. Raiders Giants.
That's going to be a
game that I actually have to watch for sure.
Fosse T from the 925, great show, gents. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Well, are we going to be live next week, Mike, with Christmas week and or I don't know how we're going to be able to squeeze that in. Pause.
Yeah, that's tough. We'll figure it out when it gets there, but
because Niners are on Monday night. Niners are on Monday night, and then it's probably going to be. I'm probably not going to be able to do one Monday night.
I'll be at my mom's. I would say probably we'd have to aim for like Friday or Saturday or something.
Yeah, we'll
or
see.
Just combine the 2 weeks and then do it the following.
Yeah, or we might just touch on the important stuff and like ignore the like game recaps next episode and just like whatever's important. Did the Seahawks beat the Rams? That would be like, important. Are the 49ers still on pace for the 1 seed? And then if they're not, did they clinch the playoffs? Like, so that might be it. And then for the Raiders, it would just be like first overall pick watch. Where are they? So, all right, Pia, that's my alarm clock to get off the stream. Pia says cookie delivery. That's a Smiling Friends reference. I don't know if you know that one, Mike.
I have not caught up past the first episode of season 2.
Season 2 or season 3, the new one?
I guess season 3. Yeah.
Okay. Oh my god, dude. So we we saw the episode where, all right, do you remember during our Disney trip where I was like, Alan, you're so far?
I
Do you
vaguely, yeah.
Okay. So that's been like a meme, and like literally we just saw the episode the other day, and I think that might be the best episode of season 3 so far. That one genuinely had me laughing throughout the entire one. That might just be the best episode of Smiling Friends, I think, like period.
Hmm.
So it's just know it's when they go on vacation. Not the Brazil one, but like an actual like vacation. All right, everyone. Have a great night. Thank you to Pia, Fossey, and Nick. So catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
Peace.
I'm just going to let it roll because, we don't even get to see the outro if I don't let it roll for a couple more seconds. Show's over, but we're still here.